Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 99, and this is what I would consider to be a very low pressure vlog because one would suspect that once you hit 100 vlogs, that 100th vlog would be some kind of a special occasion, but this is just that vlog before vlog number 100. So relatively, like I said, low pressure. Now, if you guys could do me a huge favor and click the like button, that makes sure that this video gets a little bit more traction because no one's gonna watch the 99th vlog anyway. Everybody's gonna wait to the 100th vlog. But today, there's just been a lot of stuff happening with the over-the-counter legislation, with the Medicare, potentially having hearing aids and all of that. And there's been a significant increase in the amount of consulting, appointments that I've been scheduling with different companies that are investing in the hearing aid space. And they're specifically investing in the hearing aid space because there's going to be a lot of change happening in the hearing aid space with over-the-counter hearing aids, the continued proliferation of direct-to-consumer type devices. And to be honest with you, I could probably have a whole nother job just doing consulting on the side of me creating video content and me working as an audiologist inside of my clinic. So I just want to kind of explain a little bit of what that really entails and what people are basically interested in, people and companies are interested in. I've done some consulting before. I've mentioned it in previous vlogs, I don't know, a while ago, maybe even as much as a year ago. And I kind of got out of it a little bit just because I was just so busy with other things. But because all this legislation has come out, I've just been bombarded with requests to talk about what's happening inside of the hearing aid space. And because I'm a very, out there type individual, meaning I create a lot of content around, not just prescription hearing aids, but direct-to-consumer type products, that a lot of people want my opinion on what I actually think about those products, meaning are they good and are consumers actually using them successfully? Do they like them? So on and so forth. So these investment companies can get kind of a leg up in determining which companies they want to be investing their money in. Now, in the next couple of years, we're going to see billions of dollars invested in the hearing aid space. And I'm not talking invested into the major brands that we see right now. It's going to be investing into a lot of these smaller companies, and these investment companies are trying to figure out where they should be putting their money to get a significant return on their investment. And so anytime that they reach out to me, they're asking me very similar questions, like who are the up-and-coming companies? What do you think of their products? What do you think about their distribution model? What do you think about their share price if they've already gone public? So on and so forth. And it's been very interesting kind of sharing my thoughts with them and really to see the very limited understanding of the actual products that a lot of these investment companies have. And one of the aspects they really want to know is it too early? Is it too early to call the winners and the losers? And when you really think about it, there's not that many companies right now that naturally transition into companies that you would think would be significant front runners in this space. I think that there's going to be a lot of new companies popping up once they really know what the over-the-counter hearing aid guidelines are. And in case you're unaware, if you have not seen my vlog where I'm talking about what over-the-counter hearing aids are, then I would recommend that you go back and actually watch that vlog because it can help you understand what I'm talking about right now a little bit better. But these investment companies are really looking to find certain companies that they can put a good amount of money into, and then to see those companies kind of just skyrocket in value. Now, this can, of course, backfire because there are going to be some companies that are maybe too early to the game. And, anytime that you have something new like this come out, there's a certain time period where some of the earlier companies in this space are the ones that are kind of like sacrificial lambs. If you think back to a company like ThinkLabs One that several years ago, like 5 to 7 years ago at this point, they came out with basically the first hearable device, something that could amplify sound and stream audio and all of that, and they ended up going out of business. Now, if that was a company that took on significant investor dollars, then those investors basically lost money. And when you look at it from the perspective that I look at it from, I'm trying to stay relatively objective with this. I mean, no one stands to benefit more from direct-to-consumer hearing aids, in my opinion, than I do, because I have a direct channel that I could distribute those particular products through. And, you know, I know that everyone knows me as the best practices guy, meaning you're either going to treat your hearing loss to the best capability that you possibly can, or you're not going to treat it at all. And that is my standpoint inside of my own clinic. But when it comes to increasing accessibility and affordability, I am also a big fan of those things. And if there's ways that we can ethically dispense hearing devices in an online channel or what have you, I think that that is a great way to get individuals treated who've not been able to get treated to any capacity before. But does this replace traditional treatment inside of an audiology clinic? And I believe that the answer to that is no. But it doesn't change the fact that there's going to be a lot of companies coming out here that are developing these direct-to-consumer type products within the guise of what the FDA has declared to be an over-the-counter hearing aid. And there's going to be some companies who do that really, really well. And there's going to be some companies who talk a big game and end up not having a whole lot of success with it. But I don't think it will be because they don't have access to money. I think that these companies are going to get a significant injection of money for them to try to develop these particular types of products. And I think that that bodes really well for individuals with hearing loss who are in that mild to moderate category, because you're going to see technology that's going to be significantly better than what it would be if these investment companies did not invest in these particular products. But anytime an investment company is investing in a company that is developing any type of product, you have to look at it from two aspects. You have to look at it from, is their product actually good? And how is the company run, and how much traction does that company have? I mean, can they actually sell their product? And there hasn't been any companies, to my knowledge, who've been able to develop somewhat of a direct-to-consumer type hearable product and actually be significantly profitable from it, other than maybe Apple. And if you've seen my video where I'm talking about making your Apple AirPods Pro more like hearing aids by using the transparency mode with amplification, then you need to go back and watch that video, because I think that might be the only company that has been profitable with a product that can actually amplify for individuals with hearing loss. And to be honest, that was not even their original intent of that particular product. Their original intent was for it to be a set of Bluetooth wireless earbuds. But essentially, one of these phone calls, how it works is that we schedule a time with whatever the investment company is, and there are usually several individuals on the phone call, and usually one individual is orchestrating most of the questions. And they literally, for like an hour, will give question after question, and I will explain my thoughts on what I think. I will kind of add a little bit more of my input on top of that if I feel like their question didn't really encompass everything that they should know. And then they just keep asking me question after question for usually an hour or maybe even more. So it all really comes down to, which companies do I think are best positioned to have a direct-to-consumer over-the-counter hearing aid product? And the answer is really the major hearing aid manufacturers. And I know that there are a lot of you out there who do not like the major hearing aid manufacturers. You feel like they are the ones that are keeping the cost of hearing aids so high, and why would they even want to get into the direct-to-consumer over-the-counter hearing aids? And it's really simple. The major manufacturers see this particular part of the market as an untapped potential for them. None of them have made really direct-to-consumer products, because if the FDA was going to crack down on anybody for selling products direct-to-consumer, then it would be the major hearing aid manufacturers. But now that this legislation is coming out, I would bet you that every single major hearing aid brand is developing technology to be able to sell directly to the consumer, and then expand the market that way, and then kind of shuttle people into, as time goes on, professional hearing aid treatment, which they also benefit from because there's a distribution channel built in already for professionally fit hearing aids. So really, at the end of the day, it's who is going to be successful at getting into the direct-to-consumer over-the-counter hearing aid market when you have some of the big players that already have the technology, they already have the intellectual property, they already have the engineers, they already have essentially partial distribution channels, and who's going to be able to come in with very little funding or even a lot of funding and be able to make a product that is as good as what a major hearing aid manufacturer can do just by taking their existing technology, kind of making it more self-fitting and removing certain features, and basically have a ready-to-go product that's probably going to be available very shortly after the over-the-counter hearing aid guidelines actually take effect. So it'll be interesting to see where all of the money goes. It won't be hard to see because you're going to identify which companies are putting out the most marketing for their product. You're going to see which companies have the best technology. Of course, anytime a new over-the-counter hearing aid hits the market, I will probably be one of the first individuals to review that particular product on my channel. If there is a way for me to actually sell these over-the-counter hearing aids or affiliate market these over-the-counter hearing aids through my channel, that is probably something that I will do to help cover the cost of actually doing and taking all the time to do all the reviews that are going to be required for those particular products. And the last thing that I'll talk about here in terms of being an advisor to these investment companies is that it's actually kind of fun. And what I mean by fun is that it makes me pay really close attention to what's actually happening in the industry. Because if someone's going to pay me some really good money for my advice on what's happening, I had better know what the heck I'm talking about. I mean, you know, it would be a one and done situation if a company contracted me to, or an investment company contracted me to give them advice and they jump on a call and I have no clue what I'm talking about, which is why I spend so much time reviewing different types of products. I read all the legislation that's out there surrounding over-the-counter hearing aids. I take a look and see what's happening in the public and in the news outlets when it comes to hearing aids. You know, spend a lot of time on Hearing Tracker. They actually have this really, my buddy Abram's going to kill me because I can't remember. I think it's called the Audiologist Informer or Audiology Informer on Hearing Tracker. If you have not signed up for that, I would highly recommend signing up for that because they actually, I think they have a bot that goes out and identifies all the different hearing aid related information and they compile it in one like daily newsletter, which is fantastic because every day I just go through that and I'm like, oh, that seems to be interesting. I read about a new product, I read about a new company or something like that, and I can do a little bit deeper dive, check out their website, see what they're up to, see what kind of products they're selling, see how much they're charging for those particular products, and all of that. So you know, I like it because it requires me to pay a lot more attention. Instead of keeping my head in the sand like a lot of hearing care professionals do, I'm actually required to go out and learn as much as I possibly can. And I think that the investment companies like to work with me and the investors like to work with me because I try to remain as unbiased as possible. I mean, I'm not going into these investor calls saying, oh, all of those products just suck. They're not as good as traditional hearing aids, or I don't like that company because I don't like the way that their devices look, or something like that. It's like a very objective perspective that I try to take with anything that I do, whether it's professionally fit hearing aids, whether it's over-the-counter hearing aids, whether it's a direct-to-consumer amplifier, whatever the case may be. They know that I'm coming at it from a relatively objective perspective. Those are really the things that I want to talk about today. I mean, I really think that within the next 6 to 12 months, we are going to see a lot of money change hands from these investors into these companies that are going to be developing these particular types of products. There are going to be a lot of investors, I think, that are going to make a ton of money in this space. And then I think there's going to be some investors that lose a lot of money in this space. But it'll be interesting to see kind of where that money goes, how it kind of spurs along creativity and development when it comes to direct-to-consumer over-the-counter hearing aids. And I kind of use those hand in hand because they are basically the same thing at this point, at least when the guidelines get approved and we actually have something called an over-the-counter hearing aid, because as of right now, there is not a single over-the-counter hearing aid that actually exists because we do not have the final rule on what an over-the-counter hearing aid is. But I will leave it at that for today. This was vlog number 99. If you liked it, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it because that will make it so other people actually watch this video. And I will try to think of something good for my 100th vlog. It is getting towards the end of the year here, and things are always busier at the end of the year, but I'm going to spend, a good week thinking of what could I do that could be special for this 100th vlog, and hopefully it ends up being a good one. But I appreciate you guys paying attention to me this much in this, or this far in the video, and as always, I'll see you next week.